What if everything you've been doing to bond with your cat is the very reason they keep pulling away? Most cat owners believe that love means closeness, petting on command, calling their cat's name constantly, always being available for affection. But from a cat's perspective, that kind of energy can feel invasive, even threatening. Because in feline psychology, trust doesn't grow from proximity, it grows from permission. Today, you're going to learn the 14 most overlooked behaviors that cats love. Not tricks, not hacks, but real, emotionally intelligent actions rooted in feline instincts and cat psychology. And doing just one of these can completely change how your cat sees you, not as their owner, but as their safe person. If you're learning something new already, make sure to hit like and subscribe. I post weekly insights on cat behavior and emotional bonding. Let's start with the first. Point 1. Let the cat initiate contact first. Most people don't realize this, but in the world of cat behavior, the way you start a connection determines everything about how your cat will respond to you. And the biggest mistake most cat owners make? They initiate. We call their name the moment we walk into the room. We stretch out a hand before they've even acknowledged us. We reach, pet, coo, and try to show love the way we think love should look. But for a cat, none of that feels like affection. It feels like pressure. And pressure, for a species built on observation, control, and self-protection, equals distrust. Here's the truth. Cats only trust what they choose. When you give them space, real space, not just physical distance, but emotional detachment, you're offering something far more powerful than a cuddle. You're giving them control. And in the feline world, control is the foundation of emotional trust. Next time your cat enters the room, don't call them. Don't move toward them. Don't even make eye contact. Just exist, quietly, peacefully. Sit on the floor or couch. Do something else. Let your energy settle. Let the room breathe. Let your cat observe. You might notice something incredible. Your cat will come closer, slowly, tentatively, testing the space around you. Maybe they'll sniff your leg. Maybe they'll brush past your arm. Maybe they won't do anything at all that day. That's okay, because the moment they choose to approach, that is the moment real bonding begins. Cats remember who pressures them and who doesn't. And in that stillness, in that respectful silence, they start to associate you with something rare, a person who gets it. And here's the wild part. The more you back off, the more they lean in. Because in the end, you're not trying to force love. You're offering trust. And that's something your cat will never forget. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever tried completely ignoring your cat for a few minutes, just to see what they do? What happened? Point 2. Touch the oxytocin trigger spot. You've probably heard that petting your cat is a great way to bond. But here's what most cat owners don't know. How and where you pet them matters far more than how often. Most people use what I call dog logic. They stroke their cat from head to tail, ruffle the ears, or give repetitive pats on the head. But cats aren't wired like dogs. Their social bonding doesn't come from constant stimulation. It comes from subtle, focused behavioral signals. There's one specific spot on your cat's face that holds the key to emotional closeness. It's located just behind the whiskers, at the base of the cheeks, and slightly below the ears. This isn't just a sensitive area. It's a zone packed with facial pheromone glands. And when you touch it properly, something powerful happens. Your cat releases oxytocin, the same hormone that strengthens bonds between mother cats and kittens. That means this isn't just about affection. This is biological trust building, rooted in cat psychology and emotional communication. But there's a catch. This area is also intimate territory for a cat. They only allow access to it when they feel emotionally safe. So how you approach this matters. Use slow movements. Keep your hand open and soft, not stiff. Let them sniff your fingers first. Then, if they lean in, begin gentle circular strokes right at that cheek zone. No pressure, no rush. Watch their response closely. Do they close their eyes? Lean into your hand? Begin to purr, not loudly, but from deep within their chest? If so, you're not just petting a cat. You're activating a chemical signal of bonding with your cat. This move also connects with scent. As you stroke this area, you're spreading their scent back onto you, a form of identity marking that says, "You're part of my circle now." Most owners miss this completely. They go for big gestures, constant attention. But your cat? They crave this kind of feline trust signal, quiet, precise, powerful. And once you earn access to this spot regularly, something shifts. You become more than just the human who feeds them. You become comfort, familiarity, emotional home. Later in this video, we'll get into the emotional power of scent sharing and how you can use it to build long-term trust without saying a word. Stick around. Point 3. Create vertical territory, not just toys on the floor. You've probably spent money on cat toys, little mice, balls with bells, maybe even motorized gadgets, and yet your cat keeps jumping on the fridge, the top of the bookshelf, or that one forbidden cabinet. Here's why. Cats aren't floor dwellers. They're vertical creatures, natural-born climbers, surveyors, watchers from above. In the wild, cats climb trees not just for hunting or escape, but for confidence. Height gives them control. Control makes them feel safe. And safety is the foundation of everything else. Play, affection, even sleep. But here's the problem. Most homes are designed for dogs, not cats. We lay out rugs, toss toys on the floor, and give them comfy beds, down low. Meanwhile, your cat is silently scanning the room, looking for a high place where they can feel like a sentinel of their space. That's why creating vertical territory isn't optional. It's essential for effective cat enrichment. Start simple. Add a cat tree with multiple levels, especially near a window. Install floating wall shelves they can climb and perch on. Leave the top of a wardrobe clear and accessible. Even the back of a sofa facing the door can become their favorite command post. Each elevated perch you offer gives your cat something they crave on a deep primal level, a sense of ownership and control over their environment. And here's the transformation. Cats with access to vertical space often become calmer, more playful, and far more affectionate. Why? Because the world around them finally feels aligned with who they are. Not just a pet, but a territorial climber, a watchful guardian, a cat living in a space that respects their instincts. So next time your cat seems aloof, nervous, or uninterested in toys, ask yourself this. Are you giving them enough room to rise? What's the highest place your cat has claimed in your house? Let me know in the comments. I love seeing how creative they can be. Point 4. Allow uninterrupted bird or squirrel watching. You've seen it before. Your cat perched at the window, absolutely hypnotized by a fluttering bird, a squirrel leaping between branches, or even leaves blowing in the wind. To us, it looks like boredom. To them, it's something deeper. This is what's known as natural enrichment. When a cat watches wildlife, they're not zoning out. They're entering a state of focused instinctual stimulation. Their eyes dilate. Their whiskers twitch. They might even chatter quietly, a soft, stuttering sound that comes from prey anticipation. And neurologically, this moment lights up the same circuits as hunting. It's not just fascinating for them, it's therapy. But here's where most owners go wrong. They interrupt it. They laugh at the chattering, walk into the room loudly, close the blinds, or even move the cat away. It's almost always unintentional, but it breaks a ritual that offers them mental health, not just entertainment. Instead, honor the ritual. Create a perch by the window, something padded, stable, and high. Add a bird feeder outside to draw in feathered visitors. Give them 10 to 20 minutes a day of uninterrupted wildlife time. Don't talk to them, don't pet them, don't distract them, just let them watch. This kind of cat enrichment has profound benefits. It reduces stress, minimizes boredom-based aggression, improves sleep, and satisfies one of the deepest feline needs, stimulation without threat. In fact, many behaviorists now consider window watching one of the best low-effort ways to support your cat's emotional well-being. It's free, natural, and perfectly aligned with how they're wired. So next time you see them at the window, don't ask what they're staring at. Just let them stare. Are you giving your cat daily enrichment opportunities like this? Share your setup in the comments. Others might love the inspiration. Point 5. Use scent swaps for emotional bonding. What if you could tell your cat, we belong to each other, without saying a word? Cats live in a world of scent. While we rely on sight and sound, their primary way of identifying safety, territory, and emotional connection is olfactory. And within that world, the most sacred scent markers come from one place: their cheeks. Right behind the whiskers, your cat carries powerful facial pheromones. When they rub against furniture, the doorframe, or even your leg, They're not just showing affection, they're claiming emotional territory. They're saying, "This is mine, and it makes me feel safe." And here's the secret. You can mirror that gesture. Try this. Take a clean, soft cloth and gently rub it along your cat's cheeks, just where those scent glands live. Don't rush. Make it soothing, almost like a miniature spa ritual. Then, take that cloth and rub it on something they associate with you. Your pillow, your hoodie, your favorite chair. Or do the opposite. Wear a shirt for a day, then rub it onto their favorite sleeping spot. What you're doing is swapping scent markers, not just sharing smells, but weaving identities. To your cat, this is huge. You're not just cohabiting. You're forming a bonded scent profile, something they instinctively associate with feline trust signals, family and belonging. This simple act, rooted in cat psychology, can lead to more frequent cuddles, softer body language, and even a decrease in stress-based behaviors. It's a subtle but powerful form of cat communication, and one most people never think to use. Have you ever tried scent swapping with your cat? I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Point 6. Perform a calm exit ritual before leaving the house. We often think cats don't care when we leave. They're independent, right? They don't wait by the door, cry like dogs, or act out when we're gone, at least not in obvious ways. But here's what cat behavior experts know. Cats absolutely notice our departures. And if those departures are rushed, noisy, or abrupt, they can trigger confusion, anxiety, and even mild separation distress, especially in more emotionally attuned or sensitive cats. That's where the power of the exit ritual comes in. Before you grab your keys, stop. Lower your energy. Speak softly. No sudden movements. Give your cat a calm glance. Maybe offer a slow blink. Maybe whisper a quiet, "I'll be back." It might feel unnecessary, but to your cat, this consistency is a reassuring pattern. It tells them, this isn't abandonment, it's part of our rhythm. Over time, this habit can reduce meowing after you leave, eliminate destructive behaviors tied to stress, and actually increase your cat's emotional resilience. Patterns matter to cats. They anchor their emotions. And by turning every goodbye into a gentle ritual, you're not just leaving, you're reinforcing emotional trust. Point 7. Let them choose where to sleep and when to engage. We often want our cats to sleep in the cozy little bed we bought, the one we placed right by our side, the one that matches the couch. But your cat? They have a different idea. Cats don't choose sleep spots based on consistency. They choose based on instinctual comfort, a mix of temperature, light, quiet, and emotional readiness. They rotate between places depending on the season, time of day, or even their mood. And that rotation is part of how they regulate their stress. So when you let them pick where to rest, without expectation, without redirection, you're doing something powerful. You're telling them, "I trust you to know what you need." And here's where it gets even deeper. Let's say they choose to settle near you. Maybe just a few feet away. Maybe right next to your legs. Don't touch them. Don't talk to them. Don't even look. Instead, try this. Slowly turn your body just slightly away. Lower your energy. Exhale softly. Then, after a beat, offer one slow, relaxed blink. If they blink back, or if they simply stay, you've just unlocked one of the deepest, most subtle forms of cat bonding. That feline trust signal, that silent exchange of, "I see you and I'm safe with you," is more meaningful than hours of petting. Cats want control, not because they're cold, but because it makes them feel safe. And when they feel safe, that's when they finally let you in. How many different sleep spots does your cat rotate through each week? Share in the comments. I bet we'll see some funny ones. Point 8. Use a low, steady tone of voice. You might not think your voice matters that much to your cat. After all, they don't understand your words, right? But here's the truth. Tone communicates everything. Cats are sound-sensitive animals. Their ears can rotate independently, detect the tiniest shifts in frequency, and pick up subtle cues in how you speak. To them, the tone of your voice is like an emotional map. High-pitched chatter, sudden bursts of volume, exaggerated baby talk. These might seem affectionate to us, but to your cat, they can sound unpredictable, even alarming, and unpredictability erodes emotional trust. Instead, use a low, calm, steady tone. Talk to them the way you'd speak to a sleeping child or a close friend in a quiet room. Not loud, not rushed, just soft, grounded energy. Over time, they'll associate that vocal pattern with emotional safety. It becomes a signal. This moment is peaceful. You are safe. I am calm. Have you noticed your cat reacting differently to various tones of voice? Share your story in the comments. Point 9. Offer food as a social connection, not just for feeding. Feeding your cat is a routine, but bonding with your cat, that's a ritual. And the difference comes down to intention. Most owners fill the bowl and walk away. Maybe they call the cat over or toss a treat occasionally. But food isn't just fuel for a cat. It's a language, a social offering, a way to build rapport without touch, words, or pressure. In feline groups, cats who share food or groom each other after eating form the strongest bonds. You can mimic this by offering a small treat during calm, unstructured moments, not as a bribe, but as a spontaneous gesture of closeness. What's your cat's favorite bonding snack? Drop it in the comments. Maybe you'll give someone else a new idea. Point 10. Respect their no immediately and without hesitation. We've all done it. The cat pulls away and we try one more stroke. They twitch their tail and we pretend we didn't see it. But here's the hard truth about cat behavior. Ignoring their signals does real damage. Cats speak clearly. They freeze. They flatten their ears. They swish their tail. They shift their weight away or go still. Each of these is a polite feline way of saying no, not right now. And when we ignore that, we break trust, not in a dramatic, obvious way, but in a quiet erosion. We teach them that their boundaries don't matter, that they have to tolerate discomfort to stay close to us. But when you stop the moment they signal no, that's when trust actually deepens. You become someone who listens without words, someone who sees their subtle behavioral signals and responds with respect. This doesn't just make them feel safe in the moment. It encourages them to seek out more interaction later, because now they know they can trust the exit door. Point 11. Create daily quiet moments of shared stillness. Not every interaction with your cat has to involve play, touch, or even talking. In fact, some of the deepest connections you'll ever form with them will come in complete silence. Cats are masters of co-regulated calm. They notice your energy. They match your breathing. They read your stillness as emotional safety. And when you give them quiet companionship, just sitting near them, not engaging, not expecting, you give them space to relax next to you on their terms. Try this once a day. No phone, no TV, just you and your cat in the same space, doing absolutely nothing. Read a book, sit on the floor, look out the window. Over time, your cat will gravitate toward this stillness, because it tells them, this human doesn't need to control me. I can be myself here. These moments may seem uneventful, but they're not. They're the silent glue that holds trust together. And the more of them you create, the more your cat begins to see you as not just a source of food or play, but as a presence that feels like peace. Point 12. Provide temperature variety in rest zones. If you've ever noticed your cat sleeping in the sun one day and on the cool tile the next, there's a reason, and it's not random. Cats are thermal strategists. They instinctively seek out warm or cool places to regulate their body temperature, manage stress, and even self-soothe. It's not just comfort, it's survival instinct carried into the home. In winter, they gravitate toward heating vents, blankets, or cozy corners. In summer, they stretch out on hardwood floors, sinks, or shaded nooks. And in between, they might rotate between the two in a single day. That's why offering temperature variety in resting areas is one of the simplest ways to show your cat you understand them. Create layered options, a sunny spot with a fleece blanket for warmth, a cool ceramic tray or bare floor patch away from direct sunlight, a covered hideout for emotional insulation, regardless of temperature. These small choices tell your cat, you are free to feel how you feel. This space adapts to you. And when a cat senses that their physical needs are consistently met, their emotional walls begin to lower too. Point 13. Rotate toys and objects to stimulate curiosity. Cats are curious, yes, but they're not easily amused by repetition. Unlike dogs, they don't go back to the same toy day after day. For them, play must feel real, fresh, unpredictable, alive. That's why rotating toys and objects is essential for cat enrichment. When you change what's available, even slightly, it resets their curiosity. A toy they ignored for weeks suddenly becomes the target of a surprise, hunt. A paper bag that appears out of nowhere becomes a jungle cave. Try this. Keep half of your cat's toys out of sight. Every week, swap them with the others. Add a crumpled paper ball. Move a tunnel to a new part of the room. Even rotating blankets or boxes can spark engagement. This approach taps directly into your cat's predatory instinct, which is activated not by abundance, but by novelty. It fights boredom, prevents behavioral issues, and adds daily enrichment to a life that, especially for indoor cats, can easily become too predictable. What's the most surprising object your cat ever turned into a toy? Let us know in the comments. Point 14. Offer touch through open, non-intrusive hand gestures. Most of us think we're being gentle when we reach out to pet a cat. But in feline communication, the act of reaching itself can feel intrusive, even threatening. That's why the most successful interactions begin not with action, but with invitation. Instead of reaching toward your cat, try something different. Open your hand slowly. Keep it low to the ground. Let it stay still. Don't direct it at them, just let it exist near them. This is called passive offering, and in the world of cat trust signals, it's incredibly powerful. If your cat approaches, sniffs, or gently rubs against your hand, they're initiating the connection. And that shift, from you reaching toward them to them reaching toward you, is the emotional pivot point of the entire bond. Cats don't respond to pressure, they respond to choice. By offering your hand instead of using it, you become not a force in their space, but a presence they choose to include in their comfort zone. And here's the bonus. When they accept your invitation, the trust that forms is deeper, more lasting, and far more likely to grow into genuine affection. Because in the feline world, touch isn't about control, it's about respect. Which of these 14 cat bonding techniques surprised you the most? Drop your favorite in the comments, and if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe so more cat lovers can connect deeper with their feline companions.